So you think, great, I'm busy. But the truth is, you are being under Satan's yoke. Let's talk about it. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Thank you very much for being so supportive. Thank you for those that have recently subscribed. Really appreciate it. And if you're here for the first time, this is the best version of yourself, the BVOY project channel, where we speak about just how we can help each other being the best version of ourselves. If you find any of this information helpful or you find it useful for whatever reason, please feel free to kindly like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on any of our content when it gets posted in the future. What we're talking about today is why clarity beats hustle, focus over busyness. Now let's start with definitions. Let's have a talk about what the definitions are. So what is hustle? Now hustle without direction is simply sprinting on a treadmill. Now for those that go to the gym a lot, you do understand this. You put so much effort in running, but then ultimately you're not actually going anywhere. You feel like you've done quite a lot. You feel the energy tax that's been built up and you've used so much energy and you feel like you've done a lot. But the truth is you haven't actually moved forward. Now, sometimes, don't get me wrong, hustling is a really good thing. You know, let's get things done. Let's sort stuff out. Let's think about how to be creative and let's just get things done. But there's times where hustle for the sake of hustling doesn't actually help you in any way. And as described, it does feel like just running on a treadmill. Now, the truth is busyness itself may make you feel productive in the short term, and clarity eliminates the energy tax. So clarity eliminates the energy tax of decision fatigue and allows you to focus on your resources, on the vital few actions that are really important. So this is a concept of actually focusing a bit like a laser on the things that are effective, the things that are more important, the things that matter. Now on this video we're going to talk about a little bit of the difference between the hustle and the clarity. What's the difference between the two and why you may be able to identify yourself in either one and perhaps be able to actually improve, whether it's your business or your personal life, in being able to be a bit more efficient. Now, let's start with the hustle element. What is hustling? This is the mode of doing more. Now, this is the concept of just doing more. You might be able to actually get yourself in a state where you feel like you're doing as much as possible. And at the end of the day, there is more tasks done. But the truth is, how many of those tasks actually matter? Okay. I'm one of those people who enjoys having a task list and green things off as you go along, and every time something goes green I have that shot of dopamine because I've just done something. I felt like I've been productive and it feels great. But then sometimes you analyze that whole list and think, which one of these things or how many of these things were actually important? How many of them actually mattered? Sometimes I do stuff and even after doing them, which were not on the list, I write them back onto the list and green them off for that shot of dopamine. And also because at the end of the day, it's nice to see a long list on my iPad, because that's where I write. My long list turned green. And it's nice to see more greens than the reds. So ultimately, sometimes hustling or being busy for the sake of being busy is just a case of getting that shot of dopamine to feel like you've been productive. But sometimes, as we all know, it's not really that effective because you're just busying yourself with things that are not really that important. Now, it's rooted in urgency and reactiveness. So where you actually feel the need to just do things because something has appeared, something needs to be done, so you just get it done. But if it doesn't align with your focus, or it doesn't align with the things that are important, it doesn't align with your vision or your goals, essentially it just becomes busyness for the sake of being busy. The question that people ask themselves when they're hustling too much is, what can I do? It's just, what can I do? If you've got a moment of idleness, it's like, what else can I do? But then the element of just what else can I do is just piling up tasks for the sake of piling up tasks. That's what hustling is. Now, the result of that is creating a bit of burnout. You feel tired, a lot of energy tax that's actually utilized in that situation. And the results sometimes are just flat, where some of you will recognize this. You'll come back home feeling tired because you've been doing so much all day. But if you really think about it, has the needle moved? Okay, have you actually felt like you've made progress, because it sometimes feels like, yes, I've been productive, I've done a lot of things, but have you moved forward in any way? Do you actually know what direction forward is? So this is the concept of just hustling for the sake of hustling. Now, if we look at the opposite side, essentially the other side that we're speaking about is clarity. Now, with clarity, it is rooted in intention and strategy. So clarity is rooted in intention. So I know what it is that I'm trying to do, and strategy, I know how I'm going to do it to increase efficiency, to get me closer to the thing that I really want to achieve, i.e. my goals, the visions that I've actually got, either for yourself or as an organization. Whatever it is that I'm supposed to be doing today needs to be slowly taking me towards that goal. Now, even if I actually do less, the less that I have done is actually taking me towards the goal. You actually feel like you've made progress, even if sometimes it doesn't feel like you've been productive, but you've made progress. Okay, so intention and strategy, that's what clarity is rooted on. Now, the question that you ask yourself when you're looking at clarity instead of hustle is, what actually matters? Yes, I have a long list of things that I would like to do, but which one of these actually matter? Now, sometimes what matters is what matters to take me towards the goal, but sometimes what matters is what matters today. Just for today, what is really important, what matters, which one of these is actually going to make the biggest impact? And that's what you take on. Now, the result of that is momentum, confidence, a peace of mind, because you feel like you're actually getting closer and closer to the thing that you want to do and the thing that you want to achieve. That increases your level of confidence and competence, which is that loop that is also on the video that we've done before. And this actually takes you forward with a bit more of confidence in the progress that you're making. Now, ultimately, this is what you ideally want to do to be able to achieve the goals that you want to achieve. And that's the difference between hustle for the sake of it or being busy, and clarity, which is actually focusing a bit like a laser, not like a torch, like a laser on the things that are really important. Now, let's have a talk about how you can shift from being busy to being focused, how you can shift from hustle to clarity. Now, that change is not really as difficult as most people think, and I'm gonna go through just a couple of things that I would recommend you can look into for that. So you don't actually need to overhaul your entire life to be able to shift from hustle to clarity, and I recommend these 3 aspects that I would want you to look into to be able to make that change, which is just slight adjustments to the things that you're already doing. If you're one of those people that just hustle and hustle and hustle, let's start implementing these 3 and see how that could change things for you. Now, number 1, you define your core 3. Now, what are your core 3? Your core 3 things is asking questions about the things that are on your list, the things that you're doing, and you ask question number 1 is, who do I serve? Look at the list and see if it marries up with the people that you serve. Who are your customers? Who are your clients? Who are you doing this for? Now, this could be in your personal life. You could be looking at it as, my main clients, so to speak, the people that I serve are my family. How are these tasks that I'm working on serving my family? So, who do I serve? Question 2 is, what problem am I solving? You want to understand that you're problem solving every single day. What problem am I solving? That's what you're brought on earth for. That's what you're here for as a human being. You are a problem solver. So what problem am I solving? And question number 3 is, why does it matter? So it goes back to the thing that we're talking about earlier on in terms of clarity. With the clarity, you want to understand which of these things actually matter. And then you can ask yourself the question on the things that you're doing. Why does it matter? Why does it matter for you? Okay, if you understand that, you actually start doing it with a bit more passion because it matters to you, right? So those are the 3 things you want to ask at the start in terms of defining your core 3. Number 2, audit your schedule. Audit your schedule. Look at your schedule, look at your daily calendar, and if you don't have one, you might want to start it so that you can create a schedule for yourself in a day on what am I doing at what point in the day. Now, if you already have a schedule, you look at your calendar, you audit it and start understanding which one of the meetings, which one of the tasks that I've put in the calendar line up with what I'm trying to to achieve. You start auditing as if it's someone else's calendar. If you were to try to think of yourself as someone that you've employed, someone that you're paying on an hourly basis, look at the calendar and think, what am I actually paying for? Is that worth paying for? Is that not worth paying for? What is this person actually doing, and how does it align with the overall goal that we've set? How does it align with the overall vision? And lining it up with the 3 questions that we've asked before, which is, who is it serving? Yeah, what problem is it solving, and why does it matter? You line it up together with the calendar, and that makes it congruent so that everything is moving in the same direction. It actually eliminates a lot of things. It gives you the confidence to actually say no to certain things as well, because you know what is aligned with what you're trying to achieve. Now, number 3 is define the done in advance. Now, what that means is understand what success actually looks like. If things were to work out the way that you want them to work out, what would it look like? If these tasks would be complete, what does complete actually look like? Define that up front so that you understand what you're trying to achieve. And then at the end of the day, at the end of the week, at the end of the month, or even at the end of the year, you can look back and say, yes, we have been successful because this is what done looked like. This is what success looked like, and we've achieved it. So you want to look at those 3 things all together and understand what that looks like. And this is what brings what we call class as clarity. This is what brings clarity. So even if someone else were to join your team, or if someone else were to talk you through or ask you about how your day looks, how your week looks, how your month looks, you can actually just show it at that point to say, this is what we're doing, this is why we're doing it, and this is why it's important to us. And ultimately, what you'll probably find is by implementing these 3 things in your hustle day-to-day basis, you will reduce the task lists, but then you will increase efficiency. You will increase effectiveness because you're now left with the tasks that actually matter. Now, this might feel a little bit odd for people that just want to be busy as much as possible so that they fill the day and then come back with the justified, I am so shattered, today has been busy. I'm so tired. I have done this and I've done that and I've done that. But doing 10 things, of which 8 of them are not really that important, is not as efficient or helpful in any way as doing just the one thing that actually really matters, because that will give you the feeling of, I am moving closer to the thing that I'm trying to achieve. Okay, that's what we've got for today, guys. Hopefully this is information that's been helpful to you. And as mentioned before, please feel free to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. And if you find this useful, also share it with someone who you think will find this useful as well. Thank you very much, guys, and I'll see you again soon.